Welcome everyone to another insightful episode of Talk with Maya. I am your host, and today we are discussing a challenge that affects students, professionals, and people of all ages: how to improve focus and concentration. In a world filled
I'm
with
s-
notifications, distractions, and constant information, staying focused has become more difficult than ever. To help us understand how to strengthen our attention and improve productivity, we are joined by Maya. Welcome, Maya.
Thanks for having me. I'm ready to dive in.
Maya,
Focus feels like a bit. Oh, sorry. I was
Maya,
just going to say that focus feels. Wait, are you just doing a little sound check or something?
Maya, what is focus and why is it so important in our daily lives?
Think of focus as a mental spotlight. It's the ability to pick one thing out of the noise and keep your attention locked on it. It's so important because when you're actually focused, you're not just getting things done faster, you're doing them better. It's the difference between spending 3 hours on a task while scrolling through your phone and actually finishing it in 1 hour with a clear head.
Why do so many people struggle with concentration in today's digital world?
It's like we've trained our brains to crave the new. Every time we get a notification or a like, we get a little hit of dopamine. We're essentially in this constant loop of seeking the next distraction, which makes the deep, quiet work feel boring by comparison. It's a bit of a battle between our biological wiring and the apps designed to keep us scrolling. Do you think the struggle is more about the tools we use or the way we're using them?
What are some of the most common distractions that reduce our focus?
The obvious one is the phone. Obviously, social media, emails, that endless scroll. But it's not just the tech. There's internal noise too, like that sudden urge to check the fridge for the fifth time or a random worry about something you have to do next week. It's usually a mix of the external noise and our own restless minds.
How does multitasking affect productivity and concentration?
Multitasking is basically a myth. Our brains don't actually do two things at once. They just switch back and forth really quickly. That switch cost is what kills productivity. You lose a bit of your momentum and a sliver of your focus every time you jump. By the time you've settled back into the first task, you're not even operating at full capacity.
Can our physical health influence our ability to focus?
Absolutely. Your brain is part of your body, so if the engine isn't running right, the focus is going to slip. Lack of sleep is the biggest culprit. When you're exhausted, your brain basically starts to shut down non essential functions, and concentration is usually first on the list. Then you've got nutrition and hydration. If your blood sugar is crashing, you're going to be staring at the same sentence for 10 minutes. Even just a quick walk or a bit of movement can reset your brain. It's hard to maintain a mental spotlight when your physical foundation is shaky.
What role does sleep play in maintaining good concentration?
Sleep is like a system reset for your brain. While you're out, your brain is busy clearing out metabolic waste and consolidating everything you learned that day. When you skip sleep, those files don't get sorted properly, and you wake up with a mental fog that makes it almost impossible to ignore distractions. It's basically like trying to run a high end software on a computer that's overheating.
How does stress and anxiety impact our attention span?
Stress is like static on a radio station. It just crowds out everything else. When you're anxious, your brain goes into survival mode, focusing on the perceived threat instead of the task at hand. It's almost impossible to concentrate on a spreadsheet or a book when your mind is screaming that something is wrong. Your attention becomes fragmented because you're constantly scanning for danger, even if that danger is just an email you're dreading.
Are there specific foods or nutrients that can help improve focus and brain function?
For brain function, things like omega 3s from fish or walnuts and plenty of water are huge. For the focus part, some people swear by things like noise canceling headphones or using focus mode on their phones to block out the noise. As for vocals, that's a different beast, usually just staying hydrated and resting your voice. Did you mean brain function specifically, or are you actually looking for tips on the voice side of things too?
How important is regular exercise for concentration and mental clarity?
It's massive. Exercise gets the blood pumping and sends more oxygen to your brain, which basically wakes it up. It's also a great way to clear out the mental cobwebs and lower your stress levels. I've heard that even a 15-minute walk can make a huge difference in how you're able to focus afterward.
What are some simple daily habits people can adopt to improve focus?
Start with something like the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, just do it now so it doesn't take up mental space. Then there's time blocking, where you give a task a dedicated window of time and treat it like a non negotiable appointment. I'm also a big fan of single tasking, the opposite of that multitasking myth we talked about. Just one thing until it's done. Do you think people find it harder to start the task or actually stay with it once they've gotten going?
How can students stay focused while studying for long periods?
The Pomodoro technique is a lifesaver for students. You work for 25 minutes, then take a 5-minute break. It prevents that feeling of your brain turning into mush after 2 hours of staring at a textbook. I'd also suggest creating a distraction list whenever a random thought pops up, like, I need to buy milk. You just jot it down and deal with it later so you can get back to the studying. Do you want to hear more about how to set up a study environment that actually works?
What is the Pomodoro technique and why is it effective?
The time management method, where you break your work into intervals, usually 25 minutes, separated by short breaks. It's a factor because it works with your brain's natural attention span rather than fighting against it. By knowing a break is coming, it's much easier to resist the urge to check your phone, and the breaks themselves keep you from hitting that wall of total mental exhaustion.
Are there any myths about concentration that people should stop believing?
I think you mean concentration, right? One big myth is that you can just willpower your way into focus. People think if they're just more disciplined, they'll magically be able to concentrate for 6 hours straight. But focus is more like a muscle, it gets tired. If you try to force it without breaks, you're just going to burn out. Another one is the idea that some people are just born focused and others aren't. Concentration is a skill you can actually train, not just a fixed trait you're born with.
What advice would you give to someone who feels they can never stay focused?
First, just be kind to yourself. Because the more you stress about not being focused, the more that anxiety creates the very distraction you're trying to avoid. I'd suggest starting ridiculously small. Instead of trying to focus for an hour, try for just 10 minutes. Once you prove to yourself that you can do it, the win gives you a little momentum. You can slowly build up from there. It's all about training the muscle without overstraining it.
Thank you, Maya, for sharing these valuable insights on improving focus and concentration. Today's discussion reminds us that focus is not a talent that only a few people possesses. It's a skill that can be developed through healthy habits, practice, and consistency. Whether it's
It
getting
was
enough
such
sleep, reducing distractions, exercising regularly, or practicing mindfulness, small changes can make a big difference in our ability to concentrate and achieve our goals. Thank you to our audience for joining us today. We hope this conversation helped you stay focused, productive, and motivated in your daily life. Until next time,
Thanks for
keep
having me on
learning.
the right back at you. It was a blast being part of the episode.
Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep your mind focused on what truly matters. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.